Conquering Mom Scrapper with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and it's another episode of Free Pattern Friday. Yay! It's Free Pattern Friday. Today we're bringing you the Amish Star. It's a lot of fun, and we decided to play with our grays and yellows just because we could, and we found some really fun low volume fabric. And I have a bunch of half square triangles here ready to sew, so they're not laid out yet, but they're coming. But before we get into this, and the cutting instructions are going to be in the show notes below, so you gotta get into the show notes just to get the cutting instructions. But first, let's do our shout out. Our shout out is Michelle from Bits Pieces. I had the privilege of working with her now, 2 years ago or a year ago, and I just loved working with her. She was absolutely very talented, very amazing, and just far more organized than I was. So, and yeah, you guys gotta go check her out. If you haven't checked her out, please do, because her stuff has lots of fun in there. Now, another thing that we're going to be doing is our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is growing. It's warm and welcoming, and we have so many things going on in that Facebook group. We have a virtual sewing room hosted by Discord for the Facebook group members. We do fabric exchanges by country. There's numerous community chats. We have recipes. We have all sorts of fun things. And any sew along too, there is yet another chat set up for that, community chat set up for that. So people, if they're having problems with this or that about their sew along or the quilt bingo or whatever, they have the opportunity to go in there and say, hey, I need some help with, please explain it to me this way or whatever. Those chats, the admins do so much for me in that Facebook group. I don't think I'd be able to handle it without it. Also, I speak for free, and I am working on my second speaking engagement. My first one's about elements of design, working with scrap fabric, and of course making charity quilts. Now, the other speaking engagement is going to be a surprise topic. We're not going to discuss what it's going to be about yet, but it will be ready by the end of December 2025. So if you're a quilting guild or group and you're looking for speakers, I do speak for free, and I'll be happy to give you a second speaking engagement once I finish that the PowerPoint presentation for speaking and speaking to. So yeah, it's good. They're usually a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of pictures in there so you can see what I'm actually talking about. Also, shout outs. If you guys see somebody on YouTube that's working hard and doing their best and just having fun, please let me know about this. I would love to give them a shout out, help them out, and pat on the back, give them some words of encouragement or whatever. But now, both for the speaking engagements and for the shoutouts, you can either email me, and that email is under the About tab, or you can send me a message through the Facebook group. I am a little quicker on Facebook Messenger than I am on my email, so just bear with me because, wow, there's a lot going on in this house sometime. Also in the show notes, you're going to find the Zoom sew days from now until the end of December, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Put those dates on your calendar and come hang out, because we just have so much fun in those sew dates, and there's lots of people that usually come, and I try and pick something easier so I can talk with everybody, but I mean, we do have a lot of fun in there. And if you don't feel like sewing that day, you want to bring another craft, please bring it. It's not a problem. Not a problem. Share, like, and subscribe with your other quilting friends. We would be happy to make a new friend, and also make comments. Making comments helps drive our analytics and pushes our video forward. So we love hearing from you anyway, so you might as well help us out by pushing our analytics forward. Also, there's a bell that you can hit so you don't miss the content, and you can hit that thumbs up. That also helps us out quite a bit. Now, our next sew along after quilt bingo, now just giving you guys a little heads up, is going to be called Twinkle Twinkle, and yes, it's going to be another really good scrap buster. So save your scraps. Well, maybe you shouldn't be saving your scraps. You should be using them up. But it's going to be another really good scrap buster, and we are looking forward to having some fun with this. I think that's it. That's all I've got to say. So, tell you what, let's come on in. Let's get to the sewing of Amish Star. Okay, Amish Star. And this is, we're going to do the hard parts first. It looks complicated, but it's not. It really isn't. Now, I gave you the cutting instructions for the traditional method. I, of course, did the method that I like best, which is the easy angle ruler. And, you know, you take a 2.5 inch strip for this, and then use your easy angle ruler, and you've got, you know, you sew them together, and you've got, you know, nice 2.5 inch half square triangles. And you only have to trim off one dog ear, right? That's the beauty behind the easy angle ruler. Now, I have done a video tutorial on how to use that ruler. There are other ones on the market too, but that's the one I own. And I very, very seldom have problems with it. It just comes together so quick, so fast, so nice. So, on Free Pattern Fridays, I decided to play with some fun colors. I pulled out the grays. I pulled out my grays. I played with some yellow, and I was like, okay, we can do some large scale print too, you know, we can throw that in there. Actually, I started with the, okay, which large scale print do I love? And let's have some fun with it. And I thought, okay, that one. And this one's got a couple of different grays in it and a bunch of different yellows. And I thought, ooh, this could be a lot of fun. And this is another one you can use like a, because this is a 4.5 inch center, right? I mean, you know, you can do all sorts of fun stuff with it. Okay. You can also do this totally scrappy. And wow, would that be fun? Because, you know, it's a traditional block, right? So, okay, let's get these half square triangles done. Okay, first, we'll get those done first. They, sometimes you see one, you see several, right? I mean, it's one of those blocks that you have to learn how to master very quickly. And I'm just going to cut them and flip them. There we go. Flip to the dark. The gray is, I want all the gray on top, so it's easier to finger press them open. And I did pick a really fun, I have no idea where I got that fabric, but it has matured in my stash long enough. Let's pull it out to play. You know, sometimes you just got to make those decisions. Okay, it's enough now. I have been saving it for long enough. I don't need to save it anymore. So, now, the Amish Star is like a 4-patch, but not quite a 4-patch. It's got little details like this that go there. And the gray triangles point in to create this little medallion motif, what is it, hexagon, an elongated hexagon motif, you know. But I said I picked very uniform colors, right, because I had enough scrap to go all the way around. But you could make this totally scrappy and it would look great, you know. Like you say, instead of gray, you go, okay, I want mediums and then I want darks, right? I mean, you could do that. Or you could say, I want mediums, I want lights, but I also want a low volume, right? And you would still have an effective block, right? So, oops, that goes like this. Okay, the next hardest bit is, you got it, the flying geese. Now, I just line up my flying geese corner to corner, just like so. And I get it down underneath. And I do all 4 of them at once. This is not really a hard one to do, but some people don't like flying geese, I think, and that's the problem. You know, they get it in their head, oh, it's a hard block. Well, yes and no. Because once you master it, it's not hard at all. But you got to use them. You got to go for it. You just got to keep practicing, right? There's some flying geese methods that I prefer over this. If you wanted to use the 4 at a time, you could. My spider scrap was not big enough for 4 at a time. So you got to learn a whole bunch of different techniques, right? You just have to, okay, there's several ways of doing this. So, you know, of making flying geese. So sometimes you have to learn other methods, right? Just to stay on top of it. Okay, we're going to snip 3, and we're going to just press open and grab the other side. Okay. There. Line that up just perfect. And finger press this just like so. There. Oops. There. And you do have a bunch of trimming to do after, but there you go. There. Now, yeah, this is yeah, you could have a lot of fun with this block. But like I say, you could do this at a 4 at a time method. Like I say, my spider web fabric was not big enough. I was just like, okay, I want to use it because I think it would be fun to throw spider webs in here, but oh well. You know, you gotta have fun with this stuff. And of course, spider webs go with flowers, right? They look great. It's like a little bug. There we go. All right, now let's get this. Oh. Okay, now we're going to finger press this open, and we're going to trim off all the dog ears. And I'm not going to worry about reducing waste or anything. I'm just going to trim dog ears. There. Here we go. Just like that. There. I think that spider web frames that focal fabric really nicely too, so that was a kind of a fun focal fabric. You know, all the beautiful grays and yellows, and it was nice. And last one off the sewing machine. Here we go. There. And now we're all trimmed and ready to rock and roll. So now it becomes, okay, do I want to do the 4-patch first? Or do I want to do the Flying Goose unit first? Well, let's do, because these two just go together quickly like this. Now you sew with the point up, right? So you can see where this matches. You know, let me get a pen here. I'll draw it on. Okay, so X marks the spot. X marks the spot. You want to be on this side of that X. Now, if you sew it the other way, you can't see the X, right? So, you know, this is a nice tip for you guys to know. There we go. Let's just line it all up. Okay. Get it under the needle. And sew. Now, we don't want to cut off that point because that's a really cute point. They're cute. You got to keep the points. There. There we go. Line that up. And it's such a busy low volume that you'll never see an error. There we go. There. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. There. There. Now, we've got all of those done. I'm just going to finger press them open. Now, when you're finger pressing these, let me get that string off. When you're finger pressing these, they're going to lie flattest pushing this piece out, right? That's the piece you're going to push out, you know. And yes, you got some nice points going on. Looks good. You haven't cut off any points. Actually, you've left a little bit of room. That's so nice. And we're just going to leave that one there. Now we're going to start doing the 4 patches. The 4 patches are very easy to do. Oh, look at that. The lines are perfect. And flip that over. There we go. Now we're going to add this together. Now we're going to do more 4 patches. We're going to do them all. I mean, that would be the easiest to do. Is just do them all. There. There we go. Now, I hope you guys have had a nice summer. We're filming this August 1st, and we've spent lots of time already with the grandkids, and I'm hoping to spend more with them in August, but we'll see how everything goes. You know, you never know around this house. It's like, you know, it's busy. Busy, busy, busy. Okay. Here, now let's get those 2 at a time. You cut them off 2 at a time. There, and you open them up. Now, one way it is going to lie flatter than the other. So you're going to press the solid piece that way, right? You're going to press it to the solid piece, and that way it nests and it will lie flatter. Now, and you're not fighting that seam that from your half square triangle. There we go. Okay. There. There we go. There. They're nice and neat. And every one of these is going to press a little different when you're looking at it. But if you press towards the square, right, like and make the square itself bend, you're not fighting the seam here. Because fighting the seam there, really, there's so many easier ways to do this. You don't have to fight the seam. There we go. You know, we want to make our life easier. Don't make it harder. And last up, these are such pretty blocks. Oh my goodness. All right. Now, once you get all of these little bits sewn, there we go. Once you get all the little bits sewn, this is turns very quickly into just web it and get it done. Okay, so here we go. Let's get all of this off. Now, it's up to you. Like, I'm spinning mine open because I know they'll fall flat. They'll go flat. Now, it's up to you whether you want the the gold to point in or the bright yellow. I think I'm going to go with the bright yellow. But, I mean, you can change it to whatever makes you happy. You know, quilting is all about making yourself happy, right? And bringing joy. That's always a good thing. If you can bring joy to either your life or someone else's life, that's a good thing. So, there we go. I know I've got one here, but let's just start laying these out. Okay. So now we're going to just web the blocks together. Now, there we go. And here we go. I'm just going to open that and give it a spin and a twist, and there, point it towards the center. Now this is going to fit nicely in there too, and just line all that up. There we go. And like this, there. This is such a pretty block to do as well, you know. There we go. There. Now, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put the next one on. Webbing is such a good technique to learn how to do. You get so much more done. There. And you can check before you actually sew your block completely together whether or not your block is aligned correctly, especially if you have problems sometimes. I know when I get tired, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I need to do this better. I need to do this, I need to do that, you know, that kind of thing goes on, and it's like, yeah, webbing takes all the stress out of that, those decision-making things, because it's all there, it's all done. Alright, there we go, just like that. Boom, boom-da. Here we go. There. There. Now we finished sewing it one way, all of it one way. Now it's just a matter of moving this out of the way. And you can see how that's all the stuff is pointing the right way. So now it's just a matter of flipping it over and sewing it the other direction. So line this up. There we go. Line this up just like so. There, get rid of that big string there. Oops. Okay. There we go. There. And now you're going to pull this down just like so and match that up. Now I'm pushing the flying goose seam away from the center because that's the way it's going to lie the nicest and the flattest. Okay, and then I'm going to try and nest these two pieces here. Come on, there we go. Let the feed dogs do any easing if something is short or something is too long, let your feed dog ease it in. Let it do its job. Oops. Okay. Okay, last seam. just like that, and we flip it over like this. There we go, and line it up. There. Now we're going to just clip those webbing apart so I can see what I'm doing. And I want the flying goose to stay open. There we go. Just get past it. Just get past the flying goose. And then you're good. And then nest again to where that seam is. And now lay this out. Which way am I going? Oh, it doesn't matter, I guess. Does not matter. Okay. There we go. And line this up. There we go. And we're done. Let's see now. I'll show you the back, because that's kind of important, so you know how everything's going to lie. And I'll just move this out of the way here a bit. Okay, so now in order to make this lie flat, I had to sew it where the flying goose. Now I am going to have to press to make this go this way, right? I mean, I will have to do a lot of pressing to make that happen. You just take a, you can spritz it with, you can hit it with a little bit of water, like little, your piece, you can just hit with a little water. If you twisted a seam, you can untwist it simply just by, making that happen just a little bit. There. So it's going to lie pretty flat. Oops, I twisted this seam too. I'll cut it right there. It'll be fine. Okay, so it's going to lie pretty flat. And yeah, there we are. We're finished. So let's give it a good press. And you'll see how nicely this comes out. And like I say, you can also use a pressing cloth and have it just a little damp, and that will help you. But press, like up and down motions, not scrub. Okay? All right, we'll see you in a bit. We'll get to our ta-da moment. Okay, and here's our big ta-da moment on the Amish Star. I had just a blast looking at this and pulling fabric and playing with some larger scale prints and some, lighter mediums and darker mediums, and, just, we had a great time. And then I saw my low volume. I was like, oh yes. There's even little bits of gray in the low volume, as well as the gold and the yellow. So I thought, perfect. This is the perfect one to come out and play. So I do hope you give this one a try. This one looks absolutely fabulous when it's done totally scrappy as well. So, if you wanted to just go crazy and do scrappy stuff, you could. It would look awesome. And if you do have the the pieces are big enough for a 4 at a time flying goose, go for it. Go for it. You have the reference sheet I gave you in a previous video there where you know how to make them now. So I do hope you give this one a try. It was a lot of fun to come up with, and I hope you have an absolutely delightful week ahead. And your 1/4 inch is perfect, and everything in your life is going absolutely grand. Okay, you stay well and take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.